The Minnesota Timberwolves vs Denver Nuggets game was one of the most unpredictable and best game sevens of all time. Between the Wolves coming back from the largest deficit in game 7 history to the defending champions losing in the second round for the 6th year in a row, this one was an all-time classic. And honestly, it did not look like that for a good time of it, because in the first and second quarter, it was all Nuggets. They outscored them by 15 points, and they were up by a ton after that halftime buzzer rang. And then in the start of the third quarter, nothing looked different. In fact, the Nuggets were even up by 20 at one point, 58-38. And that's when it all went downhill, because the Thunder were held to 10 points for the rest of the third quarter, while the Timberwolves scored 28. And then in the fourth quarter, the Timberwolves scored 32 to the Nuggets 23. This one, I don't even have words for this. The Thunder scored 37 points in an entire half of basketball. That's just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, they just went completely ice cold. They literally made 5 shots the entire third quarter and then a few free throws, and they missed about 15. Meanwhile, you look at the Timberwolves side of things, and they made 10 shots and a few free throws. Then you go to the fourth quarter, and it looks a bit more even. But frankly, this outcome was the last thing that I and probably about anyone else in the NBA community was expecting, because going down by 20 midway through a game 7, I just cannot stress how crazy that is to come back. A 30-point swing, absolutely ridiculous. Even like Jokic didn't even play bad. He played 46 minutes of this game, only being out for 1 minute in the first half. He had 34, 19, and 7 on okay shooting, but what killed his game tonight was the threes, because he shot 2 of 10 from 3, which is really just not it. On the other hand, Jamal Murray was the main reason that the Nuggets stormed out to that early lead, because after starting off the game 1 for 6 and the Timberwolves were up for a bit, know what happened? He made his next 10 shots in a row. He ended the game with 35 points, very good showing, and that's about it for the Nuggets side of scoring, because all the other players in the game combined scored 21 points. Absolutely ridiculous, and we honestly did think that the Nuggets had depth, but now it's pretty obvious that they don't. I mean, Aaron Gordon had an absolute stinker in this one. He shot 2 of 5 from the field, had 4 points. Like, come on, he wasn't even good defensively. MPJ, 7 points, 1 of 6 from 3, 3 of 12 from the field. When you look back in retrospect, extremely easy to see how the Nuggets lost. But in the moment, it seemed like there was just nothing stopping them, and it seemed like they were going to win. Now, if you look at the Timberwolves side of things, it's also ugly. Anthony Edwards had 16 points this game on 6 of 24 shooting, along with 2 of 10 from the three-point line, which is just horrible. That's 32% true shooting, which I cannot stress how bad that is. That's just horrible. However, Jaden McDaniels, yeah, that's right. They got KD, but we got Jaden McDaniels. Jaden McDaniels had 23 and 6, along with 3 stocks on 70% shooting. Extremely impressive. Frankly, I didn't expect him to show up this big, but he did. Meanwhile, you had Cat drop 23 and 12, along with basically the game-sealing dunk. It was just a beautiful play. But the crazy thing about this one is that he didn't even play most of the fourth quarter. And that's because he reached 5 fouls extremely early in the game. About with 8 minutes left, he reached 5 fouls. He was subbed out for Naz Reid. And that's when Naz Reid really woke up, because he was playing horribly before that. He barely even touched the floor. And then in that fourth quarter alone, he went absolutely off. I mean, he just played great the entire time. He made 3 of his 4 shots in that quarter. Frankly, it was just a great showing from him. Then you go to the other guys, Gobert, Conley. They all played pretty well. I mean, everyone, all the filler guys on the team played better than the filler guys on the Nuggets team. This didn't seem like just 2 stars versus 2 stars. It felt like 2 stars versus an entire team of players. And honestly, that's a recurring theme that we have seen again and again in the NBA, because teams with a star, 1 star, 2 stars, a big 3, they won't win. You need to have a rounded out roster. And in this game, the Timberwolves rounded out roster really did show. They had amazing defense after halftime, and frankly, it was an extremely impressive showing. They had 9 steals compared to the Nuggets only 3 steals, and that's where they got most of their fast break points from. They had 13 compared to the Nuggets 7, which doesn't seem like too much, but in a game that was decided by 8 points, 6 is a good amount. Also, the Nuggets shot a bit better from the free throw line, but they attempted 14 less free throws. And I was looking at social media, and it said that the NBA was rigging the game towards the Nuggets. I cannot state how wrong that is. The Nuggets winning would be pretty good for the NBA. I mean, I have heard a lot of talk about Anthony Edwards being, the Jamal... Anthony Edwards being the Jamal Murray? No, Anthony Edwards being the face of the NBA, but it didn't seem like that this game. It just seemed like a well-rounded out effort from everyone. It was just extremely, extremely impressive. I don't really know what to say, and it was ugly. I was honestly rooting for the Nuggets to win because, I feel like the Timberwolves team is a lot more fun, but I don't think that they can realistically beat the Celtics in a 7-game series. While I do think that the Nuggets could beat the Celtics, and as a Warriors fan, you already know that I just want to see the Celtics lose all the time. I just have so many thoughts going through my head right now. What are the Nuggets going to do? You can't just run it back again expecting a different result with this team. Because as we've seen, the teams in the NBA have evolved. Last year, the Western Conference, extremely, extremely weak. This year, you had the Timberwolves beat you. You had the Suns who... they weren't great, but they were potential contenders to do well. You had the Lakers, who obviously are the Nuggets just absolutely destroyed them. The Nuggets are literally their kryptonite. You had the Clippers, who might blow it up, and obviously that young Thunder team, they're going to come back next year, and they're going to come back better than ever. The Dallas Mavericks, we still haven't seen that matchup between the Nuggets and the Mavericks. It's not going to be simple for the Nuggets to get back to that championship spot, even though they do have a 3-time MVP on their team. It's not going to happen. Honestly, let's just see how it plays out. This offseason is going to be interesting. Like the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.